Alright, we're here with Sarkhan Fireblood. Dragons are pretty cool. I'm in the mood to play dragons, so let's play dragons. We have Cavernous Souls now. I haven't played anything like this since Cavernous Souls, really, so it's pretty cool to have like a super relevant creature type in this card at the same time. Yep, so it loots, it gives you 2 mana, and then sometimes gives you a bunch of dragons. The -7 is kind of alright. The plus, or rather, the top one is cool for finding dragons or getting rid of lands, stuff like that. And then obviously the middle one is decent for actually casting dragons. So we cast basically a bunch of big dragons. We have this to essentially discount them. We have a couple others in here. Fearsome Whelp. I think there's a 3-mana one. Yep, Dragon Speaker Shaman. And then I think there's another one tossed in here I don't feel like looking for. There's a bunch of burn spells, maybe to deny mostly just early ramp that is in the form of creatures from green. I like Dragon Mantle. I don't think I've ever seen this card played, but it is essentially a Banefire. You put it on anything, and suddenly you just dump all your mana into it, and if they didn't have a blocker, especially if it's a flyer, you basically Banefired them. I don't have Banefire in here, and I probably will put it in here. I don't know for what, though, now that I'm saying that with this card. But that's something to take note of, at least, in my opinion. Just out of nowhere, 25 or even 6 or something seems decent. There's not really much to say, honestly. I have the red fetch land, so I can go get the gate here. So I have a mountain that can seek another card. Something kind of adorable, right? I don't have Ren's Resolve or the other one that exiles the top 2 and you can cast until next turn. I don't have those 2 in here. Felt a little too slow. I'm kind of trying to race to just a big dragon, right? I have 1 mana ramp spells like Goldhound, obviously Ragavan, Strike It Rich, Skirk Prospector. I don't have any other goblins, but this can just, it's just a red source. It's like your red Llanowar Elves, only just taps once. So yeah, pretty straightforward. This red removal, red nonsense, and then you go into big dragons, and that's about it. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, let's roll. Speaking of stupid matchups, do I need more burn? Like, I don't have much going on here if this doesn't work. I think I need more than that. Okay, we're kind of doing the same thing with this hand, but we have a Magda instead. Guess that's not terrible. Wait, what? Oh, right. Forgot what I was playing against for a second. I was just so used to, like, Llanowar Elves. My opponent did the exact opposite. Threw me for a tizzy. Okay, in no universe do I respect Wash Away here. I could have... Well, no, they can easily have, like, literally anything, so... Venerated Rot Priest. That's an interesting one. I almost want to let my opponent block, but I'm just not going to. So do we play our commander? Probably. It's not that important, right? So I don't... They did have Wash Away, and they didn't take the Magda. I would have just taken Magda. I can just cast this again next turn. I was expecting Spell Pierce there, but I mean, they kind of do the same thing anyways. Okay, well, they tapped out, but they drew 15 cards, so probably doesn't matter. My opponent notably did not swing. It's interesting. I love this block. Oh, I love this block. And that's all I got. So they need a pump spell or something to keep it alive through some kind of like hexproof or whatever. Rexage my treasure token. That's adorable. They could have just recast their commander and didn't. That's interesting. Do I just cast... I mean, at this point I might as well just throw this out. The mana's super relevant. This might not ever die, and I don't really know what's going on here. Okay, just cycle that, yep. They should have cycled on their own turn to find a land. I don't think they can just cast their commander. Opponent agrees. Okay, sure. Looking for a land. I don't really want to kill this. Oh, hey. This doesn't kill my opponent, but I highly doubt I'm going to get one shot. So I'm just going to send... I'm just going to force them to do something here. I won't push more into the fire breathing. Kinda does it. Sorta. I mean, it still dies to this, but... My opponent's really rooting. They're trying. They're trying with no commander in play. It's just not... It's not looking too good. Not looking too good. Alright. Opponent sat there and then scooped. You love it. Cool. Yeah, I don't think my opponent's deck works without their commander in play, and once we dealt with that, there's really nothing they can do. Oh, I can't complete these quests? Ugh. Heresy. Actual heresy. Alright, I guess we're just playing against Ivy and nothing else. That's not the worst thing. Alright, I have cards like this. Oh wow, my whole hand is so good against their deck, but it also doesn't push my game plan. But you know what? I love this. I can't not keep it. Especially, yeah, no. I am so sold on this hand right now. Okay, my opponent didn't have to reveal anything, and they did. They did not have to deal if they weren't going to cast anything. Interesting. Yep, I got nothing. What on earth is this? Mutates? Okay. Are you going to protect this? I wouldn't. Okay, opponent agrees. I would not protect that card. I don't really know what's going on here. This is probably just better than Lightning Bolt. Oh, look, it's Wash Away. Again. What a surprise. How amazing. Well, they can't recast it this turn. I mean, they can, but... Okay, they don't have the land. They fundamentally cannot. Look at that. This can't be countered, right? No, it can. It can. Okay, I don't really anticipate a bunch of counter spells. This is an absolutely hilarious card to find, though. I love it. I mean, they literally cannot counter this. Sure. Alright, we got ourselves a Toski for no reason. Cool. Ragavan. Nice. Look at that. Ragavan just scamming him. Just scamming him. Honestly, they weren't going to draw a land because they were going to draw Toski, which is funny. So, you know, there's logic. But you don't know that's how it's going to turn out, right? But yeah. This seems like a really good matchup. It really does. Like, it feels like I have enough ways to kill their commander, and them stopping mine isn't even that big of a deal. In fact, they may have not have even wanted to, and just kept that for an actual dragon like this, but it would just be hard to leave up the mana, so I guess they have to cast it when they can. Oh, I cast a green spell. Just have to get Ragavan to do it 5 more times. Malcolm's a little bit more annoying, I think. I like Lightning Bolt, but I don't like anything else, especially on the draw. Yeah, every time I play against this, it's on the play, too, which is absolutely just, like, horrendously bad, but... do I need this? Jeez, what do I get rid of? I guess I get rid of this. You know what? Let's just do that. But again, probably already lost this game. There's a lot of them that don't play it on turn 2 now, so we'll see. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I cannot believe that just happened. Unbelievable. Okay, I didn't get him to... I didn't force anything out, unfortunately. Okay. I don't really understand, but I'm not too upset with it. But like I said, I think Malcolm players are better than they used to be, so it's probably a worse matchup than it, you know, used to be. Okay, I could dash it, but I don't really want to. We're gonna cast Malcolm now. They missed a land drop. Okay, they didn't cast it, and they also missed a land drop. Alright, they played their land for the turn, sure, yep. Are you gonna let me hit you? I mean, they kind of have to. Unless they have, like, a bounce spell. But, again, I think them exhausting bounce spells in Ragavan is fine. I don't really... Honestly, I don't even like doing it here. But they are. They're doing it in combat, too, so I can just recast it. They must have a counter spell, and if they didn't counter it the first time... Them wanting to bounce it makes me think they really don't want to deal with it. Okay, so I'm going to cast this. See if I can't get myself a good card here. I'm going to get rid of this thing. I don't think it's very good here. Alright, it may have been a mistake to tap out there, but... Alright, it wasn't. It wasn't. I don't want Glorybringer. Costs too much mana. So, I'm going to try to see if I can get Sarkhan to ultimate and just hide behind an army of burn spells. So this stupid thing doesn't kill me. Well, it has to go face. Otherwise it doesn't work. So it means Sarkhan is ticking away still. Fiery Temper, huh? I guess I do it on their upkeep. Okay. Well, they're getting close to having to deal with Sarkhan here, which means Malcolm doesn't get counters or trigger. So Sarkhan just sitting there is probably more threatening than Malcolm. The Sarkhan ultimate will come first as well. Is it on 7s? Yeah, it's on 7. And then an army of 5/5s could be profoundly difficult for them to deal with. Alright, we also just found the guaranteed answer, because we have 2 spells that deal with it. Alright, we found another one, too. Nice. Alright, so now we have... probably the game here. Don't think they can come out of this one. All right, yeah. It depends on their top deck. That's the only way they come out of this. I'm not really interested in sending anything to kill this when they can simply recast it. Doesn't seem like a good idea. Also, I think I may have missed lethal. I might have been able to double bolt off of this, actually. May have been able to do that. Tried to give him the karate chop. Yeah, alright. They were very slow to cast this, and just like the Ivy matchups, we did have so many burn spells. It just felt really bad because they were on the play, and I didn't have any, didn't have a lot of ways to deal with this, but once we got to the point where we did, and, this was looting away dead cards, it was really, really nice. I even had another, layer of ways to deal with this if it came down to it. At this point, my opponent has 8 mana, so they can basically cast everything in their deck. I see they're playing this, which is kind of weird. It's actually really weird, but this makes sense. So, if they drew stuff like this, we might be in trouble. Ulamog, or not really extra turns. They're not doing too much. This is an interesting card to see. I understand that, your Malcolm is making you cast spells for free, essentially, but this costs 6 mana to activate, and then, swings, so it's basically 7 mana. This is almost never going to work, especially when you're kind of ignoring your opponent's ground creatures and flying over them. This doesn't fly. It's a decent blocker, I guess, but it is very difficult for this to actually do anything in a Malcolm deck, in my opinion. Very difficult. At least I could never get it to do anything. As we saw there, even in that instance where my opponent had nothing to do but activate it, they still didn't want to because they don't know what Malcolm's going to draw. So it's really just not, it's not really the best card to put in your deck. Not the best. You don't want to tap land on 3, 4, 5 in your deck. I mean, it's free if you play it turn 1 or 2. It's completely free, but you're not always going to do that. And as we learned, untapped lands are way better. Most of the time. Most of the time. This is a 7/6. Alright, I'm never actually answering this. I'm never going to answer Sauron. Ever. If they have Wash Away, I probably just concede. Yep. I mean, Shock is not useful here. Wait, what? Oh. Sure. Okay. Just gonna play my Terror. No fancy Seek land for us. Also don't really anticipate anything I play to survive anyways. Unless this is a creature token Grixis deck, which it doesn't look like it is, so. Look at that. Oh, of course. Yep. This is completely useless. All of that is also pretty useless. Splitting Earth. Kind of in desperation mode here. Both of these don't deal with their commander at all, so I don't really like them. Can this play lands? No, it cannot play lands. Have I discarded? Yeah, I have some lands in the yard. Okay, can't play lands. Guess that makes sense. Well, this is just a 5/5 and doesn't do anything else. But you know what? I'm just gonna play it. Just gonna play it. Who knows what happens? I could have, like, maybe kept this on the same turn I go to ultimate this, and then they think they can go to 2, and then I double strike kill them, but that doesn't sound realistic to me at all. Sure. Okay, I'm flying for 10. I am flying for 10. This was the key to the archive cards, why they could play a white spell in their non-white deck. I didn't draw anything. I don't want to give them an army, because then they can loot for days, and that's obviously not ideal. Does this... Riot does push more damage, but again, I really just don't want to give them an army. Whenever I cast a spell... Okay. It's almost lethal, but it's not quite lethal. I could have, like, blocked the army and made that 5/5, but... Okay, they put a bunch of not good cards in there, with some sprinkled decent ones. Opponent basically has to block, they're not going to take 10. But if I just let them... Oh, jeez. Okay, so I should probably play a creature. I just don't want to. Why does this have to cost 5? If they have removal spell, I'm so beyond screwed, it's not even funny. Nope. I'm convinced that I should not play anything. If I hit them once, they're basically dead, so... I just can't see an army. I can't afford to have an army hit me. Okay, alright. Well, that was surprisingly useless. It's kind of funny here. Okay, oh, can we hit you? Okay, we can. So if they have a counter spell, we're screwed. But this should be double lightning bolt. I don't care about the army, obviously, trying to kill my opponent here. Of course it's a counterspell. Why wouldn't it be? Let us do this now. Because again, I cannot let them hit me with that. Alright, top deck. Top deck. That's it. We did it. We did it. I did it. Oh, I did it. I did it. Oh. Yeah, playing super conservative worked out. It actually worked out. Look at that. Look at that. Get schmeeded, my friend. Get schmeeded. Yeah, that's it. They also drew one of their bad cards off the Oracle, too. I mean, this is a good card, but not like, you know, when you have... If you've already cast Sauron for 6, you don't really need Black Lotus, and you don't need the Mox, so... Whew, nice. Real nice. Yeah, nice to see you again. Hopefully I'll see you some more. I'll have as bad as a time as I want. Don't tell me what to do, sir. Alright. That is not a... sure. Oh, where was this last turn? Imagine. Actually imagine. Yet again. Well, Faithless Looting is kind of the best card in their deck. Usually. Assuming they're not playing like Ragavan. But they have stuff like Dark Ritual, I don't know. I think an early Faithless Looting is still pretty disgusting, though. Nothing looks like it does anything. I guess I play this. And I don't have anything to do. Let's get rid of this. I think we're past the Lannery Storm. Substantially past it. Okay, well, at least I don't have to worry about this dying. At least I don't think. It's not like the ultimate's terribly relevant when they have a 6/6 life linker sitting there. Okay, so they play their thing. It doesn't have enters the battlefield or attacks. Okay, they don't actually get any value out of this. So I guess I take the time to play a big dragon? I guess. Doesn't have a haste or anything, but if their whole turn is just their commander next turn, it doesn't actually do anything. I guess they also need land, but that seems quite likely. If I found another mountain, oh. Okay. What does this do? Non-demons get coin flipped? Nothing died to the Rakdos? Wow, nothing died to the Rakdos. That's hilarious. This still isn't a good spot, though. There's no way I can swing. Does this fly? No. So I can kill this, and I basically have to. It is 2 spells, but I literally have no choice. It will kill me, so let's swing these. And then, it's got lifelink on it, so I have to... Can I... Okay. Guess I do it like this. And then I get 2 floating damage with that molten thing? Yep. If I did it the other way around, I wouldn't. Get that? Okay, they left it in their graveyard. Are they dedicated to casting a reanimate spell this turn? I was about to say. I don't really know what they can do without... Like, casting a reanimate spell doesn't really save you. You're not dead on board. I am 1 off. But, I'm sure I can find... Creature can't block for as long as you control... Okay, alright, I guess I could do that then. Yeah, I could just play this and make it so it can't block. Yeah, we just had to deal with the lifelink there. We had to keep no creatures in the graveyard for this to reanimate, really. Surprised they never went for this. I think there was a turn they could have instead of casting Celestias. But they wanted to get this a turn earlier. But, yeah, if we just prevent them from gaining life was huge. It's funny that this didn't kill anything, but the only coin flip that was relevant was this one. So it was really only a 150-50. This alive it doesn't matter. This alive doesn't really matter. So the only small thing is if this died and this didn't and they still chose to attack, I guess I would push 1 damage, right? If this died, this stayed alive. And then with that math, if I didn't have this, they would be at 9. And then if they block this, they still die from 9 in the air. So I guess it would have mattered, but it just didn't end up mattering. Oh, I did it again. I did the wrong plus. I don't know why I keep doing that. I mean, they're identical, I guess, but please get off my screen. Something's freezing my thing. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I did not draw a dragon. Well, there's a dragon. It's not really the most exciting dragon. Can I play this first? I guess I can. Don't see why not. It's not really useful, but whatever. Don't hate it. It's not like it can really swing. Oh, sure. You got it. Well, this has haste. Okay, so I can put him to 9, and then we lose. Here comes the perfect board wipe. Nope, just explore. Okay, so I can fly for another 5, or I guess swing for another 6. Yep. Okay, we're on the play with the sort of Ragavan. Llanowar Elves, yeah. This ability's so good that even the one-timers are good. This is a cool commander too. You don't see this one every day. Really trying to avoid what is it called? Springleaf Drum. Trying to avoid Springleaf Drum. Okay, my opponent essentially has Springleaf Drum. I think I'm gonna kill it. I think my opponent mulliganed for that, so I'm just going to kill it. Alright, once I kill this, it gets a lot more difficult to continue this game. It might just concede when I do. Yep. Yep, that does not surprise me. I stopped the Springleaf Drum. That's probably what they mulliganed for, because this is a one-dimensional deck. Right? And then once I kill their commander and they don't have their Springleaf Drum, it's just absolutely devastating, because I have free reign for quite a while before this even starts to do stuff. And it's probably pretty crucial, especially to the mulligan, so. Okay, so I like this deck. Mono red is a difficult thing to, like, win with sometimes. You don't have clean answers to really anything. If, like, your opponent has a 5/5, or, like, Uro, actually. Uro just kind of beat us that last game. Can't really kill Uro, right? And if I can, it probably takes 2 spells, and then they can just recast it later. And it's just really strong. And that's just Uro. That's not even other cards in their deck. Uro, just as is very difficult to beat. So cards like that, excuse me, cards like that, which are all over the place, are very difficult for mono red to beat. So your best bet, in my opinion, as we pretty much saw here, is to kind of ignore everything you can't just straight kill, because you don't really have a choice, and just rush to the dragons. And I like that style here. I like that feeling of going for a dragon really quickly and having it be good enough to kill your opponent. You know, if you amass too many and your opponent can't answer them, they're kind of screwed. But they are a bit vulnerable, right? You play Drakasith, you sacrificed a treasure, so like let's say you committed Sarkhan, you committed Goldhound, and then maybe some other card, like you had to sacrifice a Ragavan for an attack or something like that to get this going. And then suddenly it dies to a 2-mana removal spell, and you're down all these cards, and you have nothing to show for it except maybe you dealt 4 once or something, which this actually doesn't even do on Enter the Battlefield. So I don't know. A lot of it it's hard to get going, really. I really do like this. This is probably my favorite dragon in the deck. It's cool that all of your burn spells essentially come with, like, a creature version of the spell that you just cast, and then it can go face. I really do like this. It's pretty neat. Drakasith, probably one of the worst dragons in here. It costs 7. It literally does nothing when you cast it. I mean nothing. It's just a 7-mana 7/7 flyer. It doesn't do anything. I think I cast it twice, maybe just once. Again, completely irrelevant, didn't do anything. You cast it and it resolves. Your opponent either bounces it, pacifies it, kills it before it can swing, right? At least Inferno Titan does something when it enters. This might just be better as Inferno Titan. You can't discount it because it's not a dragon, but this card as is so bad, you might as well put a 6-mana card in your deck that actually a bit more useful. All the 1, 2s, and 3s I liked, except Lannery Storm. I think that's just because of the games I played. It didn't line up as useful as it, like, may... It's probably more useful than I saw it be here. But, I don't know. This one's a little wishy-washy. It's definitely no Ragavan. By the time you're here casting this for 3 mana, you're already really trying to cast your dragons, right? Like, your turn 3 is probably going to be Sarkhan before it's this. So I don't know what this is doing in here. I never wound up adding Banefire, as I realized I never really had a ton of mana, ever. I don't even know. There may have been a couple games where I had, like, at least 6 mana to make a Banefire uncounterable. But there weren't really too many instances where that was a thing. And if Banefire is the last thing I'm doing, because I didn't cast, like, a dragon or whatever instead, and this mana doesn't help with Banefire, I was probably not going to kill my opponent with said Banefire, so it's probably going to try to kill a creature or something, and that's just not... Like, this isn't really a big red deck like a Chandra would be. I do kind of prefer the Chandra-style big red decks like that, as opposed to this, but this is different. I do like a creature-type tribal sort of thing, and I do like how you can quickly kind of cast these in a color that is not, you know, notorious for casting large things fast. But it is really cool to turn 2 this off of a Goldhound or Ragavan or something. And then turn 3 like one of these, right? That's pretty cool. Or, you know, some of these coming out and then like these. It works. It does work. I do like it. It really shuts down the Malcolm, the Ivy, the early mana dorks, usually. So you don't really get completely thrashed by those, which is really nice. This is basically Banefire, right? And this mana works towards that. But again, this is probably one of the last... I was about to call it a dinosaur. Same thing. You know, red dinosaur. Dragon that I'm casting if I have a bunch in my hand. This is sort of something I want to kill my opponent with. And playing this as like a 4/4 is kind of cool. You basically just played a worse version of Goldspan or Glorybringer. If you played this when you had 5 mana. But I guess it's alright. I don't really like it. I'm actually kind of surprised it's a mythic. It doesn't feel like a mythic. It just seems like a Banefire that is worse because it has to swing and hit them and can get countered and killed with a, you know, or blocked or anything. Like, it doesn't even have trample. I don't know why. It would be cool if this got trample just like Banefire did. If it was like 5. If it was like a 5/5 or more, it couldn't be countered and had trample, so it had the Banefire theme to it. But this, as it is probably just completely worse than Banefire, even with the mana I can dump from here into it. I just don't like this. I really is one of the worst dragons in my deck. Surprised it's a mythic. Really am, genuinely. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. If you like this style of deck, I would recommend it. It's not terrible, right? It can win games. It's not like it's just an auto loss to things. It can beat everything that everything else can, and loses to everything that everything else loses to, like Pock. You know, you're probably not going to beat every Pock you bump into. Splitting Earth is a little weird. Again, not really playing a bunch of mountains like a Chandra or a Koth would kind of as your commander in mono red, but if we get to a late game, this could deal like 10 damage. It just never happened, right? Especially when Sarkhan is sort of looting away mountains for action. I don't really see Splitting Earth as that useful. I think the highest this ever hit was 4. So I don't know. It's kind of cool. There's an argument to running Fry, the uncounterable deal 5 to a blue or white creature, just so you can, you know, go after Malcolm a bit more consistently. Although they still have stuff like Dive Down, which doesn't even care if it's uncounterable, right? But, I mean, it's alright. I liked it. I like playing big dragons fast and, you know, sometimes giving them haste and whatnot. And, you know, sometimes incurring so much value with, like, I don't know, an Underworld Breach or whatever, right? Double bolt them to finish it or something, but it's alright. Let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Hopefully my audio was working this whole time. Otherwise, I'm going to be upset.